Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 22 of State of the Stash. I am Shauna, and State of the Stash is my series where I have been tracking all the yarn that comes in and out of my stash every month and then every year in an effort to use what I have and reduce how much yarn has been coming into my stash just to be stored for the perfect project. Today is September 8th, 2024, but like I said, we're going to be talking about August yarn in and yarn out. I did put all of my 2024 yarn acquisitions that I haven't used already right up there in that basket. You used to see those sitting behind me when I had my other background, so I thought it would be nice to have a visual representation of what's come into my stash so far this year. And gonna move my microphone here a bit. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I apologize if you can't. Let's talk about some yarn that came out of my stash in August of 2024. The first project that I finished were my color Popportunity socks by Stephen West. These were the surprise sock along pattern for 2024. His second mystery sock. Very fun. This obviously used the gray and 3 pops of color. This finished pair used 90 grams of yarn, so 90 grams out of stash. I also destashed 3 skeins of yarn, which I don't have pictures to show you, but that's pretty unusual for me. I don't normally destash things, but I found a few to reduce my stash, so that was 300 grams out. I also finished my August Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. I do have 2 of them here. These are a blueberry waffle done on a 2.25 millimeter needle, fingering weight yarn in Desert Vista Dyeworks in the color Zombie Frap. I love this color, so pretty. These used 77 grams of yarn out of stash. The next finished object that I have to show you are the number 2 pencil socks that I finished for my husband. These are done on a 2.5 millimeter needle, 72 stitches. Lots of Picks Stroll colors. These used 81 grams out of stash. Lots of leftovers for that one though. As you can imagine, if you're using 5 colors, you're not going to use up very much of each color. I also finished 2 more of the scrap yarn placemats that I made for my dining room table. So in total, I finished 3, but for August, we're only going to count 2. The first placemat used 170 grams, and the second placemat used 173 grams. So for the 2 of them, that's a total of 343 grams out of stash. And I had 1 acquisition. If you haven't watched my normal episode, you wouldn't know, but August is my birthday month. So I received this beautiful package of 3 pink yarns, little minis. These are 20 grams each, and that's a total of 60 grams in. Looks like this one here. Let's just take them out. It's going to be some crinkling. I'm sorry. But they're just too pretty not to look at. So this one here, light pink, is breaking yarn in a 75-25 in the color Molly White. Very pretty. The next one, which has a cute little donut progress keeper on it. I love that. This one is Totally Rad yarn in a 70, 20, and 5. So it's 70% merino or wool, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina in the color Hello Panda or Mellow Panda. I'm not sure. I think it's probably Hello. Very pretty. And the last one, which is a darker pink. This is Madeline Tosh in a 7525 in the color Pop Rocks. You know, I think I might have had a unicorn tail in that color. Isn't it Madeline Tosh that did unicorn tails? Let me see. I have my Cozy Memories blanket sitting right here next to me. And I think that's in here. Can I find it? That's the real question. No, I don't think that. I swear. There was a point in time. Of course, I gotta find the right end of the blanket. When I first started working on this. Oh my gosh, where? I've looked at every corner but the corner I'm looking for. There it is. There it is. Found it. So that bright pink and that yellow. Maybe the silver. I don't think so though. For sure those two I bought at my very first local yarn, not local, independent yarn store that I ever went to. It was when I bought my very first set of interchangeable needles, nice ones, and I bought these two as well. The set that I got was the Hiya Sharps, which they ended up not being my go-to. They did have the Chiagu sets there too, and I didn't know. I just picked one. Could have done much worse. But anyway, yeah, so that's fun. I do believe that is the same color. How fun is that? Little stroll down memory lane there. So that was all of my yarn in and out for the month. We had the 60 grams in. We had 891 grams out for a difference of 831 grams out of stash. For the entire year of 2024 so far, I have used 2,532 more grams than what has come into my stash, which is pretty amazing. The fact that I made it through birthday month with only 60 grams coming into my stash is absolutely amazing. I think I finally convinced Glenn and maybe my mom not to buy me yarn. Of course, then when I want them to, they're probably going to be like, no, we're not going to buy you yarn. So I probably have only screwed myself over with that. But for now, it's working. So my mom, you probably saw me drinking out of this. My mom got me this. I know it's not exactly stash, but it kind of is. So she got me this custom mug with my name on it. And it says, I knit, but my favorite hobby is collecting yarn. It's like she knows me. I also got another yarn related item from my mom for my birthday. I got one of these, I think it's called a yarn minder. I haven't actually used it yet, but I was thinking this would be fantastic for when I knit on the treadmill. I haven't done that lately, but there was once I was knitting a pair of opal socks and my yarn fell onto the moving treadmill. What do you call that? The platform, the part that moves. It fell in there, goes flying off the end, and somehow it got all tangled up. Is one of the very few times I had to completely cut my yarn and just get rid of a big section. Luckily, I was able to get it out of the treadmill. So yeah, let's see how this works. Yeah, not bad. It's very similar to the magnetic yarn holder that I use that I love. And this is probably 30, 40 grams. So I think it could hold a whole skein. Actually, I have a whole skein here. Let's just take a look. Bear with me. Have you, ooh, now I have a tangle. Have you used one of these yet? Do you love it? What do you think about it? I'd love to know. Okay, come on. there's a full skein. I think the hardest part is just getting it in there. Yeah, whole skein easily fits on there. Nice. That's fantastic. I will definitely use that. And the other thing that I received for my birthday is this beautiful colorwork sock book, which is so ironic because I had looked at this book several times and thought about getting it. I just never took the plunge. So it was definitely a nice thing to receive. I was very excited. There's a perfect pair for what's coming up. Halloween bats. Yeah, very pretty. So hopefully I will knit some socks out of here. So I do have some other really exciting, a bit crazy stuff to talk to you about. For August, what days was it? I don't know. I took the week of my birthday off. So I had 10 days away from work and I thought I would just get a ton of knitting done. I got a good bit done, but what I actually ended up spending my time doing, or a lot of my time, was I finally sat down and entered the majority of my stash into Ravelry Stash. It was quite a project. Very strange how I spent hours, I mean, some days 8 hours straight working on it. And I didn't realize how long I'd been working on it until I kind of got to a stopping point. I was like, holy cow, look at the clock and can't believe that much time has passed. The good news is, even though it was time consuming, I guess in a way it was pretty enjoyable. You know, still a bit overwhelming. It's a lot to do, but once you get stuff added in, it does become a bit easier. One thing I have absolutely loved about having my stash put away and accounted for is that the other day I was trying to start a cowl and I had in my head what colors I wanted. I wanted an undyed yarn and I wanted a dark gray. So I was able to pull up my stash, look and see what I have, look at how much quantity I had of those things. And then the best part was being able to see the location that I had listed for that yarn. I went right to it. I knew exactly how much I was looking for. Total game changer as far as that goes. If you have a large stash, and like for me, mine's in a bunch of under the bed storage containers. They are see-through, but you can't see everything. It just made the world of difference because I wasn't having to take the lid off the first one, look through everything, put it back on, you know, move that one, get to the next one, and so on. Because it just happened to be in bin 4. So I would have had to look through at least 3 other bins before I found it. And then would I have known how much I was actually looking for? Probably not. So that has been really nice. One of the other features, once you get all of your yarn entered in, is that you can download an Excel file that has all of your entries, and it tells you all kinds of things about those entries. You know, the name, the color, family, how many grams. I will say I did not individually weigh each of the skeins. If it was a full skein, I put 100 grams. And as I'm going back in to start a project, then I will weigh it and I will adjust that quantity. So are my totals 100% correct? No, but they're ballpark close enough. The yarns that I haven't entered are all my scraps and also anything that's on kind of a languishing whip project. I do have the yarns entered into the project, but not as stash, if that makes any sense. So as I'm picking up an old project, I will either look at the weight total that I had entered into my project and add the yarn and change that there, or I will weigh what I have. But let me just tell you what this Excel spreadsheet tells me. Oh no, no, what happened? Hold on 1 second, because I hit something and it all just went away. Okay. Hopefully, oh no, I didn't. I would still be able to re-download it, so had I lost it all, it'd be fine, but I'm glad I didn't. So, total grams in my stash of the majority of my yarn. Are you ready for the number? 84,169 grams. That's a whole lot of grams. That is 3,000, or no, 348,766 yards. So that's a lot. So I think going forward, I can download a new Excel spreadsheet every month, and I can just kind of tell you how that number has changed. So I think that's going to become part of State of the Stash. But I will say it is not going to perfectly coincide with my normal State of the Stash, which I'm still going to do. I'm not going to change that at all. My grams in, grams out are not going to be identical. For the simple fact is that 84,000 number I gave you, that doesn't include these. I haven't added these into Stash. I may not. So minis, leftovers, that kind of thing is not going to come off that number. So it's very interesting. It's just essentially two different ways to track my stash. I think each are interesting. Certainly that number was more than overwhelming. But I'm glad I did it. It was very time consuming. I'm thankful that I had a large chunk of time just to get it done. If I would have started it and then, maybe worked on it every Saturday, it would have just taken forever, and I probably would have gotten sidetracked and not finished the project. Now that it's all in there though, I'm very motivated to keep up on it. Any full skeins are going to definitely get entered, and then it's just remembering to re-download the spreadsheet. So I am very eager to see that number go down. It's going to take quite a long time. Now that I've talked about these and they are accounted for on my normal spreadsheet that I have, I will put these in here until I find the perfect project. Those would have been so good for my contrast blast socks. All pink contrast blast, that'd be fantastic. Maybe next year, you never know what Steven's gonna do. Maybe I will also just put them in my cozy memories. I don't know. So yes, have you taken the deep dive and entered all of your stash either into Ravelry or another stashing mechanism? I know there's all kinds of spreadsheets and different templates and things that you can download online. Other people's Google forms that you can create your own off their template and put your own data in. It's certainly interesting. I would like to think that had I done this sooner, maybe I wouldn't have stashed so much yarn. But on the other hand, I am happy to have a stash because for that cowl, I was able to go find that yarn. For the upcoming Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, I was able to find all the yarns in stash, which I wasn't so sure I was going to be able to do. It's definitely a very useful and helpful tool if you have, I would say, more than just a easy visible quantity of yarn. If you just have a very small stash, it's probably not that big a deal. If you're knitting each kind of project as you go, you're not really having that huge stash, it probably isn't necessary. But it's very eye-opening for me, and as I went through my yarns, holding each skein, taking a photo, uploading the photo, entering all the information, they really all still bring me joy. I definitely found some skeins I forgot about, some that it's interesting because our knitting projects really kind of have a story behind them. We remember maybe the time of year that we were working on it, the trip that we went on, what was going on in our lives. I feel like yarn is so similar too. So the yarn itself kind of has its story. Why did we buy it? What did we buy it for? Was this our favorite color at the time? Just all kinds of reasons. Or like, did we get it for a gift? And then so the yarn has that story, and then it has a whole other story when we actually knit it into something. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I love my stash, except for there's one skein that has bad memories attached. Isn't that just interesting how an object can have memories? But I think I will be looking to find a new home for that skein. Maybe the next time I'm going through my yarn, when I find it, I will show it here on one of these episodes and see if there's anyone else who that yarn might bring joy to, because there's nothing wrong with the yarn, nothing happened with the yarn. I'll tell you a little story. What it is I bought a specific yarn to knit something for someone, and I did. I bought 2 skeins. I knit that object for this person, and it's their favorite sports team's colors. So I haven't talked to this person in more than 5 years, 6, 7 maybe. And it's a family member. We're not on good terms. I don't want to talk to them. And it just really, it like brings back all those memories. I don't want those memories. And I would never be able to knit that yarn, even for someone else who loved a different team with the same colors, or they just loved those colors. I could not knit it for someone. So it needs to leave my stash. So when I find that, I will show it here, and hopefully it can bring joy to someone else. I think that's all I have to say about stash today. I'm hoping September is going to be a good month. I don't know. I have a sweater that the body is almost done. I just need some sleeves. That would be great. Of course, my Desert Vista Dyeworks socks will always get done, and I don't know what else might get done. So we shall see. I will talk to you again next month, and we will talk about our numbers then. Bye.